ourselves, who is brave enough in the state of Michigan or anywhere in the country to stand against Sharia? And one of the ways to identify those people who are leaders who will stand against Sharia is to establish a pledge. So I'm going to show you the pledge, and then I'm going to tell you who in Michigan in the last week has signed the pledge. These are people who would be potential leaders for Michigan and could affect our public safety and our national security. So this is a pledge. It's a pledge about law and order. Like the TV show you watch, some of you watch it multiple times a night like we do. Law and order is a combination of investigators, detectives, prosecutors, judges, and jurors. All of them must be informed about their responsibility. In particular, the police have to investigate the case. The prosecutors have to know Sharia in order to not to deal with the case effectively. Right now, we have one example of a case in process on the female genital mutilation. So that's something that we're going to watch. So this is a pledge. If you were an executive, if you could direct people to do things, perhaps you were the governor of Michigan, you could establish that you're pledging to law and order in Michigan despite the fact that we have Sharia-compliant people walking around in the state of Michigan and in our neighborhoods. So the pledge would look something like this. First of all, of course, I'm going to fulfill my oath to protect the U.S. Constitution. I'm going to enforce zero tolerance for Sharia-sanctioned crime. Think about it. Why would you even have to say that? Unfortunately, there are people in England and Europe and America and Michigan and Minnesota who are looking the other way because the federal government told them they could not get trained in Sharia or jihad, and therefore there's a tendency to look the other way. This executive who might take this pledge, or this leader, would say, I have zero tolerance for this. I'm not going to jeopardize the safety of my daughter or my granddaughter because I'm afraid of being called a bigot. So these crimes are sanctioned under Sharia: female genital mutilation, no-fault rape, pedophilia, human trafficking, honor violence, polygamy. Not generally prosecuted the way they ought to be. We have a case, by the way, on honor violence right in Farmington Hills, and you can follow that case and decide whether or not it's being properly prosecuted. Child marriage, wife beating. This is the one that Philip Hagen's been talking about all week. He's been talking about sovereignty. Tonight he's going to talk about another subject, sovereignty. Philip talks about Article 6 of the Constitution. We have one law, the law of the land is the U.S. Constitution. Well, that's not good enough for Sharia because Sharia believes that it should supersede any law wherever it is. So clearly, if you are an imam and you're preaching Sharia, you are in fact preaching that Sharia should replace the U.S. Constitution. That's a crime. Properly trained police could in fact indict, juries could convict people on the topic of sedition. The one we hear about all the time, of course, is mass murder or jihad. And then there's even extreme punishment, which is against the law. If you walk away from Sharia, you're going to leave Islam and make another decision in America. You're free to do that. But under Sharia, that's apostasy, and you could have a fatwa on your head, and you could be killed. The other one is blasphemy. Blasphemy hits really close to home because if you listen to the pastor or if you've been to our presentations, we are guilty under Sharia of the crime of blasphemy. Fortunately, we have a constitution. If we were 40 miles away from here in Canada, we would be subject to hate crime and we would be arrested. I have a feeling you would be arrested for coming here. So this is a real problem. We still have in America freedom of speech. So these are critical, criminal, everyday activities that can affect women, children, and men in our neighborhoods. Why? Because we are saturated to a degree with Sharia-compliant people in our state, and it's a problem. So zero tolerance for this would be somebody brave enough to stand against Sharia would commit to that. They'd also commit to making sure that the justice system is trained, meaning that investigators, prosecutors, judges, and jurors are all trained and understand Sharia and are not confused by a defense attorney. For example, in the FGM case, there's expectations that the defense will be that female genital mutilation should be allowed in Michigan because it's a religious practice. Well, if that is accepted by the court, by the jurist, by the judge, then all of these crimes are going to be accepted as normal, and Michigan will not be a particularly great place to live. There's a practical aspect of this. There are people who get paid to take care of women and children. If they don't understand Sharia, they might take a runaway 15-year-old that the police capture and turn over to social services. If that family is a Sharia-compliant family, the last thing to do is to return the 15-year-old home. She will have committed a crime under Sharia of shaming the family by running away and bringing attention to her. If she goes back into the family may take retribution, including murder, sanctioned under Sharia. A mother or father can take the life of a daughter if they bring shame. Or the young woman might, in fact, figure that out and commit suicide. So we just want to share with you that there is a pledge. It's a Sharia Crime Stoppers pledge. It's brand new, and it comes to us with the energy of Philip Haney and his insight to train us. And with Philip in Michigan this week, we've had the following people sign the pledge. These are people who are committed to do this if they become your leaders. The first one to do that was Patrick Colbeck. And that was in Lansing, repeated in Utica, and in Holland, Michigan this week. Terry Bentivolio took the pledge and committed to take this action if elected to the 11th District congressional race.